It's a way of the Mr. Quickie, oh yeah.
In part 2 of this one-part series, we looked at the difficulty of recognizing how the religions we leave once we do have damaged our hearts. Not physically, but in terms of our ability to tap into our natural reserves of empathy, understanding, and fairness. Once you recognize how religion has corrupted not just your mind, but your heart as well, what do you do? Well, that's not an easy question to answer, nor do I have the answers, which I'm sure is not what you wanted to hear. I can only tell you what helped me, and hope that'll inspire you if you haven't already made this journey. One of the things that seems obvious to me now is recalibrating one's heart by replacing the stories which robbed us of our empathy, understanding, and sense of fairness with stories that restore those values in us. For instance, when I began working with Dennis Prager, I became interested in Judaism and all things Jewish. I read Dennis's book on anti-Semitism, Why the Jews, and began my own year-long study on the Holocaust, which included reading Martin Gilbert's The Holocaust and watching the documentary Shoah, among many other things. That was a difficult year, but it was filled with stories which had a tremendous educational impact on my emotions and in developing empathy, not just towards Jews, but towards all people suffering injustice. I was also lucky enough to grow up in a time when conservatism was led by intellectuals like William F. Buckley, Mortimer J. Adler, and later Robert Nozick. Higher education was important to conservatives then, who often advocated a great books approach to broadening one's mind. I actually bought the Great Books series of books edited by Mortimer Adler and read quite a bit of the curriculum. There, you'll find Aristotle, thousands of years ago, talking about the need for emotional education. But the curriculum also focused on great literature, much of which teaches empathy and understanding for others. In my case, I grew fond of the works of Shakespeare, Dickens, and Austen in particular, among others. I also left Mormonism right when the idea of EQ, or emotional intelligence, was surging into the public mind. These ideas go back to Maslow, and even Viktor Frankl, who makes mention of Holocaust survivors who were clearly highly sensitive. But Daniel Goldman's book, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ, really got people thinking about emotional development, both our own and our ability to recognize the emotional states of others. There were ideas that helped as well. As many of you know, I spent a good deal of time dealing with mental illness in my 20s and 30s. That experience made me realize just how ridiculous the idea of free will is. Even if you believe in free will, dealing with someone who's mentally ill will make you exquisitely aware of how little free will is possessed by those who would do anything to break free of their illness and freely be anyone other than the person they've become. That understanding and the idea that none of us gets to choose who we are, from our genes to our parents to our life experiences or any of the circumstances which make us who we are, opened a well of compassion for others I don't think I'd have opened otherwise. When you realize the role luck plays in all of our lives, it's difficult to have anything but empathy and understanding for others. The great irony in this is that I think this is what non-apocalyptic Jesus was all about. Judge not, the parable of the Good Samaritan, caring for the poor, feeding the hungry. Blessed are the peacemakers. If someone asks for your coat, give him your cloak as well. The woman taken in adultery, and yes, I know that's a later edition. The parable of the prodigal son, etc. How sad is it that these teachings never stuck or became the focus of the Christian world? It's a genuine tragedy. Once again, I'm me. Thanks for watching.